What did you think this was, Jess?
A documentary.
A what?
Documentary.
Hey, my name's Trevor. I worked at a summer camp in Pennsylvania and made a lot of British friends, so I decided I wanted to go visit them, and luckily I had some time off between school, so I had the opportunity. My parents were very supportive, but at the same time sad to see me go. I wasn't too excited about the 11-hour flight, but luckily I was nervous and scared enough the whole time that that's all I had to think about. I had no idea what I was doing. I knew I was going to travel for about 6 weeks with some friends and kind of hop around the country to see what would happen. Eventually, I landed in Manchester, my first destination. The Topping family, who hosted us first, lived in those iconic brick buildings you only get to see in movie and TV shows. They showed us the traditional English ways, like to have a Sunday roast. While we were also there, Mr. Topping taught us a few tricks, like stirring cheap wine makes it taste better.
A man goes into a bar and says, "Could I have 2 schooners of sherry, please?" So the bartender pours in 2 schooners of sherry and puts them on the bar, and the man says, "Excuse me, bartender, but there's only 1 schooner of sherry there." "No, sir," he says, "there's 2. So the man says to the bartender, "I think I can pour that into there without spilling it and make a full schooner. And I'll bet you £1 million. And the bartender says, "No, sir, you'll never get that into
Mr.
there."
Topping was full
The
of
man
tricks.
picks up the schooner and pours it in.
During our downtime, Claire liked to play ukulele a lot. Luckily, Jess was there to harmonize with her. The next day, we picked up our friend Serge, who lives in Canada. Luckily, we picked him up from the airport in Manchester.
No, I'm kidding. This is awesome. I love this family.
Serge has a heart of gold
I like,
and is one of the nicest guys I know.
number 39. Great place. Oh, that's a video?
I wanted to show you guys the inside of traditional English homes, just so you could get a feel of what it's like.
So are we just staying out?
Lizzie played our tour guide most of the time we were there. She took us to the city center, which is the downtown. There was a lot of buildings and architecture and old things. I learned that in video editing, if you press the ×2 button, you can get twice as much video in half the time. Something interesting about England is that they're a lot more lax on what they can display in public, like a giant condo. Initially, we didn't do that much but wander around town and play with whatever we could find.
Let's drop some entertainment.
Being 20, it was pretty exciting for me to see all the alcohol there, knowing that I could purchase any of it at any time, as the legal drinking age is 18. With that noted, we geared up for our first night out on the town. We went on a pub crawl, something I have never done before. Lizzie taught us a few tricks.
Everybody in the pub getting tipsy.
We had a few drinks. And overall had an amazing first night out.
So now we're getting ready to go to a castle where Matt's birthday is going to be.
Matt's a friend from camp. On our way there, we had to make a stop at the mall for the girls, but eventually we got there. Initially, I wasn't overwhelmed. I thought it was awesome, but even more awesome than that was the grounds. Matt had a surprise for us. Another cool aspect about being an American there was that we got to do things like teach Matt's dad and all of Matt's friends how to play beer pong. The next day, we headed back to Manchester, along a windy road through some small English towns, really getting to see what the country was like. The next day, we had a full English breakfast, which includes eggs and toast, and some things the Americans don't have, like beans and dried pig's blood.
1,
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Having been camp counselors, we know the importance of making sure of knowing where everyone is at all times.
4, 6.
We had the opportunity to check out some Manchester restaurants and walk around the city a little bit. It was raining, but what do you expect? It's England. So after that, we boarded the train and we were off to Leeds, which is where we were going to spend New Year's with the rest of our Tioga family. We had a beautiful view and with some beautiful people. One of my favorite things about camp counselors is they can be crazy.
Just start yelling shit.
And you can also get a bunch of 20-something-year-olds to sit down together and watch Up.
So, we're just back from Halo. And it's 2013.
It is 2013.
It is 2013.
That's
Oh,
Sophie.
it's 2013, but it's also the
2013.
first.
She's a sweetheart.
2013.
1st of January, 2013.
I think, are we making mac and cheese?
We're making mac and cheese and pizza and chips.
And pizza
Yeah,
and
call them
chips.
The next day, we got to check out a bit of Leeds, walking around the city centre and, after recovering from the night before, seeing what it was all about. It was really beautiful and actually not that cold. We went to a place called Nando's for lunch. Nando's is a famous chicken place in England. Monica and I had a brief catch-up about the night before.
So, here we are, day after New Year's, at Nando's,
That's how you hear I mean.
munching on some chicken. We don't have food yet. But we are enjoying the day after New Year's. So happy New Year's.
Leeds is one of the bigger, older cities in England. Their city centre, shown here, had tons and tons of stores. Also, I saw one of the most interesting instruments I've ever seen. After that, it was time to leave the city and pack up for our next destination.
Hey, Team America, where are we going?
Newcastle!
That was the first man I saw wearing flip-flops. After waiting around for our bus, there was a lot of waiting involved on this trip. We finally hopped on, and we're on our way to Newcastle. Now we were at Lizzie's house at uni. That's what the English call college. Again, we had time to walk around the city and, overall, just take in what was going on. Getting used to cars driving on the wrong side of the road, taking trams places, and hearing from Serge.
Serge, tell me about where we are and what we're doing.
We're in Newcastle. Getting out of the train.
That's right.
And we are going to see our buddy James.
And we found James, one of the most genuine guys I've ever met.
James, can you tell us where we are?
We're at Monument in Newcastle. That's it.
The monument in Newcastle is known as a meeting point, and overall is just an iconic statue. We also got to check out the Newcastle football stadium. And check a brief look inside. Newcastle is mainly known for its bridges, something I didn't know about until I got there. And luckily, to my surprise, the bridges were actually something I was very impressed by. Luckily, we were with James, a Newcastle lifetime member, and he knew the insider information on the best views of the city. After that, we decided to head home, but not without a quick stop to pick up some McDonald's, something that Serge had been craving. He wanted to try all the McDonald's he
And they
could.
have one right there. It's $4? No,
It'll be small compared to ours.
it can't. It's a quarter pound. It's got to be a quarter pound. Newcastle.
On Sophie's last night before heading back to America, we had some traditional fish and chips, sitting around the table with good conversation and good company. The next day, we were off to the Newcastle castle. I couldn't believe it. My first actual castle, something I'd been craving for months. I quickly learned there was no elevators in castles, just lots of steps. Lots of steps. But the view at the top, once we got there, overlooked the entire town, including the bridges. That was the first time it really hit me, that this whole thing was actually happening, that I was on top of a castle in Newcastle with some of my best friends that I'd met just 6 months before. Next door was the Newcastle Cathedral. And yeah, it looked big and old from the outside, and it was, but on the inside is what was truly spectacular, with the arches and the pews, and you could really get a sense of how old and how important this structure was. But inside the castle,
The unfinished stair. This staircase never went further than the 17 steps visible today, and ends with solid masonry. It is possible that the work on the staircase was abandoned when William the Lion. Newcastle.
So, I always have wanted to go in the Great Hall in a castle. Now we're in one, a bit different than what I imagined in Harry Potter at Hogwarts. But
if you're watching this, you probably know I'm a bit of a goof. I wish I could do magic. Again, a lot of old things inside this castle. A lot of old things I did not break.
Much about history, don't know much biology, don't know much about the science book, don't know much about the French I took, but I do know that I love you, and I know if you love me too, what a wonderful world this could be.
So it's the 4th of January. Been in England for 9 days now. Right now we're in Newcastle, across the street from Newcastle University, outside a museum. Everyone else is inside, but not too keen on museums myself, so out here just enjoying the cool air. Think I'm getting a hang of this England thing pretty decently.
We are going to the coast, hopefully. I'm not really sure if we'll get there. We don't really know what's there. I'm a good navigator.
And this is our ticket.
We actually haven't bought our tickets yet.
We're gonna buy tickets, but they look like this.
What did you think this was, Jess?
A documentary.
A what?
A documentary,
Yep.
not a fake.
Oh my gosh,
documentary.
we got out of the house.
This is I woke
This
up
is the fastest.
under an hour ago, and
we
we're already
leave at
leaving.
4 o'clock.
Team, sound off. 1,
2, 3, 4.
5.
let's go.
A lot of the time we didn't really have a great handle on what we were doing, but generally it worked out.
Well, everyone was supposed to walk out at the same time.
The next place we went was definitely one of my favorite places I visited. It reminded me a lot of home because it was on the beach. And honestly, it was the first large body of water I had seen in weeks.
We've just entered Whitley Bay off the tram and was told the coast is this away. So we're gonna give it a go. Lizzie doesn't know if they have clam chowder. Serge and I are under the assumption she doesn't know what it is instead of it not existing. But we will find out.
They had some really cool storefronts like this tattoo shop I saw. After seeing some more old buildings, we finally got to the beach. It was weird because they weren't like the beaches in California. They were cold. Nothing I'd really seen before.
I'm so excited for the beach, I'm running.
Walking along the beach made me really feel at home and got rid of any culture shock that I kind of had.
An English bulldog.
In England.
In England. The sun is out. We're walking to an Italian restaurant, and the sunglasses are on.
I was really excited to make this documentary, but that means I always had to have my camera out, and sometimes my friends outwardly express their dissatisfaction.
I really hate when Trevor takes you videos.
That's okay, Claire. I still love you anyways. After our day out, it was time to pack our bags and leave Newcastle and head out for Liverpool, the home of the Beatles and, well, whatever else we were to find.
So, we have just been on the train bus for 4 hours from Newcastle to Manchester. We have a train in about 10 minutes to Liverpool. And we don't know where we're staying tonight.
I was gonna get him something soccer, but he doesn't like English soccer teams.
So we've arrived at a hostel, and there's the room. And, okay.
Our small hostel opened onto a fire escape.
Go.
We're at Liverpool Cathedral.
Liverpool Cathedral is the second biggest cathedral in the world, and on the inside, guess what? It's old and beautiful. You gotta check it out to see what I mean, because no video recording
So
is
we
allowed.
survived our night in the hostel, no problems. Serge, where are we?
Chinatown. Chinatown.
We are now in Chinatown. We just went to Liverpool Cathedral, went inside, got a lot of glares.
As we made our way to the docks through Chinatown, we ran into our friend Nikki, who was on her way to
Found
work.
Nikki on the street.
Normally, Liverpool is known for its gloom, but luckily on the day we went, it was beautiful.
This ain't like the ranch back home.
Sometimes we stood out as foreigners pretty easily. The rest of the day was spent wandering Liverpool 1, the downtown area, where I saw a pair of twins running down the stairs in the exact same fashion. And then we met up with our friend Katie.
Trevor, will you make me some grilled cheese?
Katie definitely wins the award for Best American Impression. Since some of the most famous musicians are from Liverpool, figured I'd give it a try.
You're insecure.
No.
Don't know what for. Turning heads when you walk through the door. Don't need makeup to cover up.
And just like in America, you have to be quiet in the libraries, even at the University of Liverpool. Liam also showed us around Liverpool University. He's a dirty scouser and a great friend, with a good sense of humor.
Liam, where are we?
Right, so this is Hogwarts. See up there? One of the final scenes of the entire movie franchise. That's where Harry and Voldemort fell off. Voldemort died, but the book was murdered. That's what happens in that final scene. So it's a bit of a sad moment.
The rest of the day consisted of walking around, checking out graffiti, of course getting a Krispy Kreme donut or two, and playing mini golf with Pips, who was around for the day. With the close of one day comes the beginning of another, and we decided to go to Crosby Beach with our friend Steven, who's also from Liverpool. That's Steven's laugh. To be fair, it wasn't the best day, but we made the best of it. Well, most of us did. Steven had a bit of trouble walking most of the time.
You have the right to take pictures.
Doesn't get any more beautiful than this.
Crosby Beach near Liverpool is famous for having 100 metal structures throughout the 3-mile span of the beach. That night we headed to the Cabin Club, which is famous for, of course, the Beatles. There was live music and displays and pretty much anything else music related that you wanted to see. Signed guitars and signed autographs, and even the bricks were signed by anyone who visited the Cabin Club. And with that, we say goodbye to Liverpool, and we're off for Ireland.
So it is 5:22 in the morning. We are in the Liverpool, John Lennon Liverpool Airport, waiting. Say something.
Going to Dublin!
The great thing about traveling around is that transportation is dirt cheap. It only costs about $40 to take a flight to Ireland. Delirious but in one piece, we arrived just as the sun was coming up, and we made our way to the city center.
We're like, alright, where do we want to go?
Right. Let's do that. We have no idea where in Dublin we are. Let's do it.
After passing some more interesting street art, we eventually found our way to our hostel for the night.
So I am in the Generator Hostel in Dublin.
Of course, we didn't stay there for long because we had the whole city of Dublin to explore, so we were off. Again, we were to check out some old churches, hundreds and hundreds of years old. I don't want to sound like a downer, but eventually it started to wear off. But this was one of the cooler churches we went into. The facades, the artwork, and the deco was amazing. I'll be honest, I don't know if any of those descriptive words were correct and actually described what we were looking at, but hey, it was pretty pretty. Dublin was again one of those cities where just walking around and seeing what there was to see was pretty overwhelming in itself. And really, it was a good way to see the culture and what the whole city was about, including the street art. Fun fact, this is where U2 recorded their first album. We happened upon Trinity College and found our way into a tour group.
You are also entitled to graze your sheep of the law. And that law stated that any Catholic on Trinity campus could be shot with a crossbow or a longbow. This was only removed 15 years ago. So basically this means in 1997, as a student here, you could have come and played Robin Hood with Catholics on campus. Right? Now you probably would have been arrested and taken to jail, but the important thing is you would not have been expelled from the university because it was okay under their law.
We wandered around another old park, St. Stephen's Green, and they had some great
across from St. Stephen's Green near Grafton Street, and I feel like a giant because my head is on the roof of this bathroom.
After seeing the eccentric shops of Grafton Street, we walked around the city centre a bit more until we met up with our friend Ian, who's fluent in Gaelic, the national language of Ireland.
Steve, lads, it's Mr. Ian of Summit Jamach. Nocht Malia Clea on Coher is Fiarsa down. August Summit Jake all. I'm to go on bear. August here that it's Summit Ta on Cracknock. Ta on Cracknock. It's Sinead.
I perfected my impression of Bane from The Dark Knight Rises one night in Ireland.
I was born in the darkness, molded by it. I didn't see the light until I was already on. And right then, it was nothing.
Followed by a night out. The next day, we explored Dublin.
We just stumbled upon a castle.
The day after that, we went to the Guinness factory. They really like to put on an elaborate show.
This removes any acidity in the timber and seals the pores of the wood.
I poured my own pint of Guinness and became a certified pourer. This is Dublin at night. That night, we paid a stop to one of my favorite places in Dublin. It was a bus, originally from London, that was brought over in the 50s and converted into a pizza restaurant and kitchen all in one. That was our last night with Jess. Never before had I learned to trust someone so fully, so entirely, so quickly. We really missed her the rest of the trip. Claire and I ended our time in Dublin and hit the road. We took a bus to Cork. There's just castles on the side of the road. We explored the university for a while, walked around the rest of town, and then I decided to head to Blarney Castle. It was easily one of the coolest places that I went in all of Ireland. One of the most touristy, but also one of the coolest, especially because I went on a day when not very many people were there, and the weather was very, well, Irish, I felt like.
Steps are about 1 feet tall. So, here I am, inside Blarney Castle. I just gave the Blarney Stone, slipped the tongue when I give it a kiss. And now I'm sitting in this little windowsill.
I tried out being Survivor Man by going ahead, putting down my own gear, and recording me walk by. I was really starting to feel like a really videographer by this point.
The murder hole. When outer doors had been battered down, assailants entered the lobby below and easily dispatched by boiling liquids, stones, or other missiles.
It was good luck to walk up these stairs backwards, so if I was going to do it by myself, because Claire stayed in town, I was going to record it, in case I fell. Back in the city of Cork, we continued to wander around.
So all time has done is worn away the toes of the apostles. They're looking pretty good.
The next day we left Cork and Ireland as a whole. We took a bus to the airport and flew all the way back to England, landed, took another bus to the train station, took a train 2 or 3 to Wales and got to Aberystwyth. Aberystwyth is in Wales where my friend Reese goes to university. He's the one in the back there who's struggling a little bit to try to get up the hill. Despite his walking ability, Reese is one of the most clever people I know.
You can't bounce the ball because you can't move with it. If you've got the ball, you can't move. This one here, max time. The one behind it, you have used it.
Oh, the other
Yeah. And where's the marina?
This castle had been destroyed over time. It's still one of my favorite castles that I visited.
expiration date.
Yeah.
That's your.
That's when it. No, that's when it was given.
After getting food out with Reese's roommates, we decided to go to a club on a pier called Peer Pressure. With the ring of the bell, it was time to leave Wales. We headed back to England and went to Bridgenorth to visit Jack.
Looking over Bridgenorth, Jack, can you give us a little lowdown of? Come here. Come on, then.
The new hit movie film series, Sheep, starring Trevor Sherwood and
Sheep
the
Jason.
Sheep.
Jack just said we can get down this, but it's a bit.
We took a break when we found a rope swing on a hillside. We didn't record it, but Jack fell off onto his neck. Got up like a trooper.
So we made it up the hike, up the cliff. Jack almost died. Took a 15-foot fall to the face off a rope swing.
Who else can say they have their first game of darts in a bar ever recorded on video? And their first bullseye.
Gonna drop 4 birds.
Here's 2.
And then I turned 21.
Here's 2 good friends. I'm excited.
It was nice being able to spend it with friends.
Here he comes.
Sorry for the following, Grandma. I edited the video a lot, though.
I hope he's not gonna. Oh, yep.
I just made a naked snow angel. Happy 21st birthday. Well, it's me.
Happy birthday, Trevor. It's been a good month being with you. I hope you warm up soon.
World War II bunker.
Jack is up yonder.
We are currently walking over the Iron Bridge, eating a pasty, and I forgot my jacket.
Alright, blame was on me. I knew you were trouble and wanted. Shame on me now. We've been saying this has never been. Now put it on your oh, I knew you were trouble when you wanted. Shame on me now. We've been places I've never been. Now I'm lying alone on through.
I saw the sign. I opened up my eyes, I saw the sign. Life's demanding without understanding. I saw the sign. I opened up my eyes, I saw the sign.
Cats. Sad to watch him go.
Claire wasn't sad for long. We went to visit Eddie in Birmingham, and then we went to the Cadbury factory.
This way.
We are at Cadbury World waiting to get in.
Just look around. Every
The next day, we wandered through a convention center, and then around the city as a whole.
Can you hit me with some facts about canals, Eddie? Just hit me with a fact or two.
The next day, we went to one of Eddie's hockey games, on the bus with his team.
Every shit all out, whether it be hitting, fighting, scoring,
So, we are in our last hour together after 31 month and a day of traveling. We just left Eddie's. We're now waiting to part ways. To the train south for Claire, the bus north for me. It's been good.
Really good.
It's really good.
I wouldn't have been able to do this without you, Trevor.
Without Claire,
Next up was Preston to visit Crispy. I biked a lot while I was there. One time I went out in the countryside with Crispy. I tried to be extreme. I'm currently out riding Crispy's bike, and I happened upon some park in Preston, Lancashire.
Yeah, alright, keep going now.
We also had a fun night out.
It's a good
red ball.
The next day I watched my first squash match, starring the one and only Crispy. Before I went to London to start my internships, I got to have a really neat experience with one of my best friends from home, Rick. He was studying abroad at Cambridge University, so I visited him, got to see where he lived, I got to see where he had been studying all year, the town, the school, and just got to spend time with one of my best friends in England.
Think you don't need a guide or
I don't
anything?
think I'm going to be very good at it.
One night we dressed up in cloaks, went to a formal dinner, and sat at long tables, and ate with headmasters or headmistresses or something. I don't really know. But this is after. I said bye to Rick and hopped on a bus to London. And then I realized I had to figure out how to live in London alone in winter for 2 months. And then I was done. 40 days and 40 nights later, I'd finished my traveling. England, Wales, Ireland, more cities than I could count, more people than I remember meeting, more drinks than I had anticipated. It was easily the best trip I've ever gone on. And I recommend it to anyone and everyone who needs a little help figuring out about themselves.
I was gonna say, did you go in asshole or what?
Welcome to Hogwarts. Give it a push, the other push, the other push. Fantastic. Thank you very much. Now in you come, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, this is the one, the only 100 extras in here for the great hall scenes. We can surely fit a group of you in here. No problems at all.
So they're there.